We talk about the decision made earlier today by the Southland Conference to cancel its fall sports. Unfortunate would be certainly appropriate, but I think there are stronger terms than that, depending
Yep.
on your point of view. I'm extremely disappointed. It is unfortunate. I think there was a pathway to do this, but I do understand the thought process. Joining us now to talk about it a little bit is a good friend and a guy that I don't know that anybody's done a better job in Louisiana, much less at the FCS level, than Tim Rebowe, who's led Nicholls to 3 consecutive FCS playoff appearances, unprecedented in school history. Just a terrific run, frankly, at a place where they hadn't won consistently in a long, long time. And Tim, listen, first of all, always a pleasure. I say that because you deserve the recognition for what you've accomplished. And welcome to the show, even though it's a sad day.
Ken, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. All the kind words, man. A lot of hard work, a lot of good people. You know that. It takes a whole village to do this thing, man. And but right now, reaping the benefits. We do, I know it's a somber day, but we got some good things happening around here. And that's what we can do, man. We can look to be positive, and we got to move on from it.
Well, I mean, it's obvious all day. I mean, just listening to you speak right off the top from an attitude perspective, that's positive because, I mean, I've talked to others today, and they were just absolutely devastated.
He's doing better than I would.
I'm telling you. So did you have a chance to meet with the kids? Did you have a chance to tell them and talk to them, Tim?
Yeah, so we already started school. It's kind of crazy. We're a week earlier than everybody else. Mm-hmm. We had been practicing, and then we got word last night, probably about 6:30, and we happened to have a team walkthrough last night at 7. So went ahead and told them, we're a little bit ahead. We wanted the guys to find out from us. We knew the release was going to come out on this morning, but we didn't want them reading it on social media. We wanted to tell them. We did, but I also told them this, unless you've kind of been living under a rock the last couple of weeks, you saw the trend, what was happening. Probably now over 75, 80% of the schools are not going to be playing ball. I thought the Southland did a great job of staying in there. The coaches in the state, at Southeastern, Coach Selfo, Brad Laird, and Frank Wilson, they all did a great job. We kept communicating. We kept trying to fight, man, with the hope that we can get it done. And so when we told the team last night, Ken, it was kind of somber. They were kind of in shock that they've been working so hard. They wanted that one more opportunity. You work all year to get this done. So, but they handled it in a good way, and so I'm really proud of them for that.
Okay, a couple of questions, and I'll let Michael jump in about eligibility. Because there will be no fall season, is there any chance that this will happen in the spring? It seems to me there are a lot of issues with that. But first and foremost, I know they're talking that's a possibility. Is that a realistic possibility?
I think it is, and I think it can be done. Obviously, logistics is going to play a big part in this, especially the smaller schools, where you're understaffed and undermanned. How can you pull off weekends where you may have basketball, baseball, and football all going on, and softball? So that's going to be a big, and when they're going to start it, that's going to be a big concern. But I think it can be done if it's done early enough, because if you don't do it early enough, then you're going to push it late into spring, and then you get in the summer, and you got to turn around and have fall ball. So it starts all over. So I think it could be done. It has to be modified, maybe a limited conference schedule. And I know this, the commitment from Dr. Jay Clune, our president at Nicholls, he told our student athletes he is going to give them the best opportunity to make that spring happen for them.
And if it doesn't happen, that was the second question, the 6 year of eligibility for seniors, the potential to redshirt incoming freshmen, but then that impacts the upcoming recruiting class as well. It's pretty complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very complicated. They put out, legislation every day. You talk about when the virus, this whole thing was so fluid. Well, this is how all the rules are coming out. We get something every day. Talking about now, if you play, less than 50% of the games that you could possibly play, you can still redshirt. But that does put in a whole nother perspective. How can you go and limited number of scholarships and budget? Where we are at the FCS level, the budget, and then how are you going to be able to go sign another class. So there's a lot of unanswered questions that still we have to tackle to move forward.
Michael?
Coach, in a situation like this where they've made an across-the-board thing, and and I appreciate your attitude, and you've got you got a great outlook on the situation, but you got a situation right now where what do you do right now? Does this mean that you have to cut off contact with your kids? You can't have any kind of practices. You can't even have an ongoing relationship. Which I mean, it seems to me if you can have school, you can work something out and play sports. Maybe that's too simplistic, but what are the rules of protocol now with regards to the relationship between you and the team itself?
Hey, Michael, I don't think that's too simplistic at all, man. It's just common sense, huh? You can have them on campus. You should be able to have them and see them and touch them a little bit. I agree with you. We're going to finish this week and try to get in a little practice if we can. They're going to allow us to do this. We already tested for the week. You know, that's been an ongoing thing that we have to do so we can get out on the field and practice. We're going to do that. And then the stuff comes in from the NCAA. What are we going to in the off-season program? Are you going to your 8 hours a week? You know, what you can do, how much you can do. Can you meet with them? Can you lift them and run them, have walkthroughs? Those are some things that we have to answer in the next couple of days. But, you know, that thing right there is you really don't want to have overkill neither. I mean, you can't sit there and meet your guys every day and keep going on. I mean, we have to be smart, but we have to figure out where we're going first in the spring in order to do that.
What have you done with the testing with regards to actually maybe testing to show that they're positive, but at the same time, how many have had symptoms though? Even and that to me, that's a number that's not being told. Positive versus actual symptoms, and it seems to be a big gap there.
Yeah, you know, like in the summer when we returned, and if we had anybody who had a symptom, you know, it was you had fever, you wasn't feeling it, was stay away.
We did that in kindergarten though.
Yeah, exactly. And we did, and our guys were good at that. And then right now you have to test. And I'll tell you this: we tested over 250 athletes last week. Okay, and we had 2 positive cases.
That's
which
the point.
I think is pretty good. And both of them was asymptomatic, and one of them had already had it in June. So I don't know if it was still in his system a little bit. So our guys had been doing the right things. Now I got to get hats off to them. Well, this is where it hurts a little bit more because it was told, hey, social distance, wear the mask, wash your hands. We were working out 10 people in the weight room at a time all summer long, and our guys did that. And with the opportunity to play, and now they're saying it won't work, that's what really hurts them, I think.
Yeah. Ken? Coach, I think we might have lost him for just a second.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here. So, you know, Tim Rebowe with us, the head coach of the Nicholls Colonels. And, Tim, you get that 6th year of eligibility. They allow that. Maybe you can give our buddy Chase Forkade a call and tell him to come on back for another year.
Hey, listen, I was already thinking a way I could get Sully Lash and Chase back for another year, man, make another run at it with them.
Those guys are good people. They're great players and good for the program and just represented Nicholls extremely well. Here's the sad part about this is obviously the student athletes don't get a chance to do what they've worked so hard to do. The other part of that was you have this 3-year run of reaching the playoffs. Your team was picked 3rd in the conference this year. You were clearly a contender for conference honors again. So is there more of an impact when you have the anticipation of having a very good team and another good year?
I think it is. I mean, those guys have set their sights higher than last year. You know, when you make a run like we did and into the second round last year and lost to the national champs, those guys, you know, wanted to prove that we can make a little run and go after it. And I do. And I don't want to knock any other program in the country, but I know early in the year when they had some teams that were saying, hey, we're not going to play, it might have been a little bit easier if they were 2-9 or 2-10. You know, than the teams that were competing for some championships.
Right. It sounds like a close enough to taste it type feel.
I get it completely, and I just think it's a situation where, in my opinion, they could have kicked this can down the road a couple of more weeks. And
yes.
Tim, I guess the biggest thing right now is the fact that there are still a lot of conferences that have Southern-based teams that are going through with plans to play. So it's still out there on the FBS level in particular, obviously. But then, in addition to that, talk about not just the of your season per se in the conference, but the loss of a money game like going to Tiger Stadium and playing there, and how significant that is for the program in losing a game like that.
Yeah, we played some big money games before. When we go to Georgia, we go to Texas A&M and the SEC, and those were huge for us. And we gave them a run, but there's nothing like playing your state school. And I think that's what hurts a lot of these guys. You know what our roster is comprised of. Well, over 90% of our roster is right here in Louisiana. So it's a little bit different. Hey, they were going to get to go to Tiger Stadium and play with that opportunity. So I think that's what stings them when you look at it. And, we were going to wait. If you look at the money we were going to get from LSU, we also lost the home game where we were going to have to pay out. We were playing Mississippi Valley in week 1. So we were going to have the opportunity before this all fell through. We had picked up 2 other games that we were going to play in place of that and could have made up some of that difference. So, it wouldn't have been such a total loss.
Coach, do you see something down the road? You're hearing rumbles that some of these schools might go rogue, some of the larger schools, and set up their own games. Boy, that sounds like a can of worms to me.
Yeah, Michael, I think I don't know how that can happen. If we really, truly canceled all this thing for the safety of our athletes, then I don't know how you can go off on your own and try to do that. And that's why I'm proud of the schools in our conference, in our state, and I mentioned earlier, because we decided to stick together, and the risk far outweighed the reward in this case. Even though that's difficult pill to swallow, I know. But I can't see how you can just go off on your own and try to play to make a game when so many of the experts in medical field are saying how dangerous it is. So that would be a tough one.
Final thought before we let you get away, Tim. You have a new athletic director. Talk about that and talk about your relationship with him.
Jonathan Terrell, former player. Boy, what a class guy. I tell you, he has been fantastic. The only thing that I say about JT right now, Ken, is, boy, he couldn't have come in at a worse time. It's tough enough to be a first-time athletic director, and you come in with all this going on. Very, very difficult, but we keep joking every day. It could only get better. It could only get better for him. But me and JT, he played for us. You remember back in the day when we were here with Darren Barbier back in the 90s, and JT played for us. And then he ended up coaching with us. And he's been around the city coaching. He was out in the medical field working and came back home, so to speak. And listen, he's one of us. He's an athlete. He's for these players. He's for these kids. He has just been fantastic. I can't say how much he has helped me through all this process and going on. And, we have a great relationship.
There you go. Well, this also want to mention our condolences as well to the women's soccer programs, to the volleyball programs, and also the cross-country programs who lose their seasons for now as well in the Southland Conference, and that includes Northwestern State and McNeese and Southeastern and Nicholls, and also the University of New Orleans and everything but football. So it's a difficult time, but everybody endures. We just rise up and meet the challenge of the next day and hope for better things to come. And, Tim, your attitude certainly is going to help. There's no doubt about that. Doesn't surprise me. We appreciate the visit, appreciate the time. Keep sawing wood. Something good's going to happen sometime soon.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it. Anytime you need it, I'm here. Let me know.
You got it, Jimmy.
Lord bless, buddy.
Okay, thanks,
Tim
Mike.
Rebowe of the Nicholls Colonels.